Okay, so what's up guys, this is Zyjox in another video. In this video, we are going to build a farm for every single farmable item I can think of. Anywhere from an obvious one, like an obsidian farm or a honey farm, to less known ones like hanging roots and sea pickle farms. And yeah, this is going to be dozens of farms. And yeah, without further ado, let's get right to it. The first thing I would like to do is make sure my entire farming district here is chunk loaded. I would like to now build the most important farm probably in the game, at least if you are interested in building a lot of farms, and that is a raid farm. And the reason it's so important is because it produces thousands of redstone an hour, meaning I will no longer have to go mining every time I'm running out of redstone. Now, ironically enough, I think I might have to go mining for redstone just to build this farm, but we'll see. For now, I think we're just gonna get the materials. I don't know if we have some of the materials, even the non-redstone stuff, but we'll see. Yeah, let's start. Okay, so I believe that now, if I understand it correctly, we have every material we need for the farm. I think we can build it in this area next to our quote-unquote water farming district, where we have the guardian farm and the creeper farm. Okay, and now the final thing we need to do in order to use the farm is have a non-fire aspect sword, which I could use to get this to sharpness 5, and I believe that's all we need, right? This has sharpness 5, looting 3, scooping is 3, and breaking 3 mending. And it's the same as this, just without fire aspect. Okay. And last thing I would like to do is make it netherite. As we drink the potion, get here, we need to have an auto clicker going. So we're gonna put an auto clicker going every second. Then drink the potion. Then we have this, and then we hit this. If I understand it correct, it should get started in 15 seconds, as I'm understanding it. It's working, I believe. Now the raid should get started, and the ravagers should die above at the lava cauldrons. But yeah, as you can see, the raiders is not spawning, I don't think. Oh wait, they are spawning. Okay, it is working. Okay, we can see mobs are dying. Okay, I can see a totem of undying there. I see more totems. Okay, I see way more totems. They're glitched in there. Right, I think now it should be over. And if we go down here, yeah, we have a bunch of totems. We got a ton of them. Like, at least relatively a ton. Relative to, like, 0, it's a ton. Not to mention, it's also producing gunpowder, emeralds, and redstone, which is insane. Now we can have totems of undying going, which is great. We have emeralds going. However, I just thought to use this farm, we have to have a lot of bad omen potions. So I think the next thing I'm going to be making, the next farm I'm going to be making, is a bad omen potion farm. So yeah, now we're gonna do that. Okay, so the farm is now complete. I had to flatten out the area, but everything else I did show. I also showed some of the flattening. It ended up just being placing a bunch of dirt, and I don't know if I placed enough dirt. Technically, you don't have to flatten it at all, so I think it should be enough. I am worried about the fact that the iron golem in the middle could just be shot by the villagers, but let's hope it's okay. Anyways, as you can see, there's a bunch of smoke particles going there. Not the smoke particle, I mean the white smoke ones, which means that mobs are dying, which is really good. It means this farm is working really fast. By the way, this is a tutorial from Shulkercraft, but the design is by Big Booty 17. He's a great farm designer. So yeah, I'm just gonna AFK here for a little, because if I'm gonna get the bottles. I don't want to fly 3,000 blocks every time, so I'm just gonna get a bunch of them now, and yeah. Okay, so we're going to be starting with a honey block farm by Cubfan. Now the benefit here with the honey block rather than a honey bottle is that you don't have to ever refill the bottles. It's automatically taking the honey bottles, craft them into honey blocks, and then uses them as and then like reuses the bottles, which is really good because that way we're never gonna have to take care of it. We can just put like a chunk loader next to it and it's gonna run like forever. However, it does require a little more expensive materials, and also I don't know if it can handle 6 bee nests. The design he's using uses 2 of them. I'll see if I can make the modification in order to bring 6 of them, but we'll see. Either way, I feel like it's gonna be more worth it than having to refill the honey blocks. So even with 2, if it can run forever without ever having to touch it, it is better than having 6 that we have to refill. So yeah, we're gonna see. But for now, let's go and get the materials. So first of all, we're gonna need a couple of shulker boxes. I don't know why I brought this many, but yeah. Okay, so I'm like 90% sure, because this was actually a really good tutorial, that we have enough, we have built it correctly. Chunk loader shulker boxes here, so this should not be too big of an issue. Whoa. What is this place? Yeah, this should be working now, right? Yep, I built a chunk loader by memory. That's sad. Anyways, just I think it's pretty cool. I'm not gonna say it's not cool. Who am I to think that this is not cool? But yeah, now this farm should be working 24/7 pretty much, unless we're at the end. And even then, if it's like it's gonna break, it's just not gonna be automatically working. And because there's no day-night cycle in the nether, it should honestly be working 24/7. Oh yeah, that's actually really cool. I believe now we can build the next farm, which is the honeycomb farm, which is basically this, just without all the mess around it. It's just dropper with shears and hoppers underneath collecting the honeycomb. So yeah, let's just do that. Okay, so now we have the 2 honey farms with the chunk loaders, so it'll work forever. The next farm I would like to build is a blaze rod farm, because blaze rods are very helpful as they are very good smelting source. And this farm apparently produces 1,200 blaze rods an hour, which is really good. Okay, so I believe I have the farm working now, right? I'm gonna have to build a better way to get in, but if I go here, yeah, okay, the blazes start spawning. I believe I built that part. And then all I have to do is just hold an auto clicker here. And we have looting 3, so that's helped. But yeah, other than that, we're just gonna AFK here. I killed some blazes while building this, which is very cool. But yeah, we're just gonna AFK here. We can get a bunch of blaze rods. And according to the rate, this will be about 1,100 an hour. Now, I don't want any mobs accidentally killing me while I'm AFKing here, so I blocked this off. There should not be any way mobs can get in here, as far as I could tell. I don't want even by accident anything to happen, so I'm just going to do some spawn proofing. Okay, I think this should be enough torches. There should not be any mobs that are able to spawn here. So now, if we just hold this, also this was an insane amount of them. They're just all flowing in here. Okay. I put 2 double chests. It should be about 2, like a row, almost 2 rows an hour. So 2 double chests should be enough for like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours of AFKing here, which I doubt I'll need that much. But if I do, I could just then clear all the blaze rods in like 4 shulker boxes, so it should be okay. We are just gonna AFK here for a little because I want this to be our new fuel source. As it's way better than coal and we can get it really quickly, so I feel like it's definitely gonna be worth it. Okay, so next farm I would like to build is a moss farm because I want to build a new bone meal farm because the one I built earlier is just not working for some reason. It's eating the bone meal instead of producing more. I'll show you in a second. When I activate it, it just uses up bone meal and produces less than it creates, and that just means it just creates. It eats up bone meal to create less bone meal. You can see that here, instead of filling up, it's going to just use the bone meal. So it just goes down really fast. I'm going to deactivate it now because I don't want to waste all my bone meal. So what I'm going to be using is a farm called the dust moss, which is the farm I built here. I tested it out first. I built it in the creative world first to make sure it works. However, as you can see, it requires a lot of moss, but it does work insanely well. You can see here at the rate it produces the moss. You can see like how fast it does that. And not only does it not eat up moss, you can see I put a stack in each of these dispensers. You're gonna see just continuously fills up, sometimes even goes up a little. As you can see, it already gained 22 in this composter. This one gained 36. This one gained 27. And this one gained 32. Plus, although it also produced all of these ones, which it continuously produces, so it's a really fast moss farm. We will need to add a chunk loader because if you unload it while it's active, it will break. And unlike this is not a simple farm to rebuild, so I would have to add a chunk loader to it. However, if we just build it in the spawn chunks, it should be okay. But yeah, we need to build a moss farm in order to get all this moss. So we're gonna start by building the moss farm, and then we're gonna build this bone meal farm. Okay, and the moss farm, let's just turn the sounds down because moss farms are very loud. But yeah, this farm is working the way I understand it. You can see that it always stays at exactly 59, meaning that it uses, like, it refills, like 2 composters are exactly enough to refill the thing. You can see it's never like going up or down, which is crazy timing. Like this is filling in exactly when this is using up, so it's looking really cool. But also it fills up these chests with a bunch of moss, flowering azalea seeds, moss carpet, and it just fills up really quickly. And as you can see, just what it does is just flushes, like create a stone generator, then it pulls all of this down there, and then turns some of it into moss, okay, there is the issue here I would like to fix of, well, yeah, it just turns most of it into moss, but some of it into, what's it called? Into bone meal, and that's it. And apparently it produces like 21,000 moss items per hour, which is a ton. And considering we only needed like 4 stacks of moss blocks for the next farm, this is more than enough. It already produced all the moss we're gonna need, so that is awesome. This seems to be stuck there. That is awesome. I don't know why that got stuck there, but yeah, it's a really cool farm. Okay, so since these 2 bone meal farms don't work, I'm going to tear them down and build in the chunk loaded area like 2 maybe 3 or 4 of these. Then I'm gonna bring this back to be, one second, this is doing a lot of noise. I'm gonna make it so this is back to being moss, but as you can see, it's definitely working. I turned off the farm, so it's not working at the moment, but if I turn it on, it definitely should be working. And you can see this is not going to use, it's like it makes enough to refuel itself, but then it also creates a bunch of bone meal pretty quickly, to be honest. It's like, doesn't take that long. So if I have like 2 or 3 of them, maybe, all in the chunk loaded area, so it's always working, I think it should be okay. I'm gonna turn this off for now so it doesn't accidentally break. Okay, and I believe the farm is now working. They should all be an infinite supply of bone meal, like they supply themselves, and the access goes here. And as you can see, it's going up really quickly. I've ended up building 4 of them, as you probably saw. 1 second, we gotta go sleep. And if I build it correctly, it should not have broken from me going to sleep. I hope it's working. I believe it is working. It is really, really fast. So yeah, I'm just gonna wait here for a little. I'm gonna tear down this one because it's not working and I want to have the materials. And then we're gonna build the next farm. Okay, so we got a couple of extra farms now. If we take here, we have the nano crop farm. Basically, we take any of the crops we want. For example, let's say I want to get a bunch of wheat for some target blocks. All I gotta do is flick this lever, aim at the what's it called, farmland, and then I just hold right click and it continuously gives me more seeds, which I then instantly grow into wheat. And the way it works is just making it too dark for crops to grow and then making it light enough for crops to grow with the piston. We got an infinite amount of any of these and it makes thousands of them an hour. I loaded it up with quite a lot of the bone meal. It seems like for some reason is the only one that loaded it fully in and the rest only have like some in. Doesn't really matter, they all have the exact same amount of bone meal in general, so it works. I believe this is now fit, I hope so. Anyways, here we have a tall flower farm. Basically we pick whatever flower you want. For example, for now I put a peony. And then we just flick the lever, it uses bone meal on the flower, which then makes it duplicate, and because the mud block is not a full block, the hopper takes the items through the mud block. And it all goes here, by the way. Here it's a flower farm, where all we gotta do is flick the lever, my bad. It's depending on which side the stone is. So we just flick that. And then it sprays a bunch of bone meal on a large grass platform, and then it gets you a bunch of flower seeds. And yeah, the reason I built it here and not next to the other farm is because in this area we have blue flower, white flower, yellow flower, and red flower, and the other type of white flower. So I believe this is the best area to put it, and then you just walk all over this area and claim all of these flowers like this, and I just, for now at least, dump them in here. And we have a bunch of stuff here. So if we ever need dyes or anything, we can just take it from this farm. Okay, now these 2 farms are also ready, producing us the crimson roots, crimson fungus, and the warped roots and the warped fungus. Working the same way as any other, as the other flower farm right there, just with the warped nylium or the crimson nylium instead of the grass. And yeah, this is all it does. But now that we're done with some of the easier farms, I would like to go back to building a pretty complicated farm, but this one will be very helpful, but in only certain situations, because the next farm is an obsidian farm. Now I will have to break it later because of something I'll talk about afterwards. So yeah, without further ado, let's just go build the obsidian farm. Okay, so I've come up with this design for the obsidian farm. After a 10-minute test, this is how many obsidian we got. It's an interesting design. I did kind of make it up myself. This water and the locking of the wither is from the ENX04 design, but I added the snow golems to shoot him in order for him to break it, and I also added the part that regenerates the platform because the part that the ENX04 designed for some reason is not working for me. But yeah, basically the issue with this design, which is not the best, but I couldn't find a better solution for, is that it uses items to regenerate the platform. So in order to get that, to get around it, we're gonna have to add a filter. Like I have an item filter here. So yeah, it is going to be a little annoying. I'm probably not gonna use snowballs just because they're stacked at 16 and it's more efficient to do at 64. Other than that, though, I think that should be all. Okay, so I muted the mob sounds because if I go to music, there are a lot of blocks. It is very loud. So let's just mute that. I've been here for a bit. I've tried to figure out how to build the shulker box loader, but I see I'm missing some materials. But I did want to show. Well, we got a lot of obsidian already, and I've already set up the filters with this. We're using cobblestone, and it is all seemingly working. If we look here, the items get in, reload the obsidian platform, the snow golems hit the wither, who then regenerates the platform. And it's working really well. Okay, so I was able to load in the shulker loader. It's taking the input from the 3 chests, transferring them to here. It seems like it doesn't, but just because it takes input really fast. And then it transfers it all into this shulker box loader, where I've loaded one shulker box plus another double chest of shulker boxes, meaning that actually there's not going to be enough room for everything, so yeah, whatever. Worst case scenario, one shulker box won't get loaded. That's assuming even this entire thing even works. Now all the excess cobblestone is going to go through here. Theoretically, I put 7 shulker boxes of cobblestone, so I'm not too worried of it not working, at least in the loading department. Like, it should be enough cobblestone to load all the platforms. If the timing is even close to accurate, it should be okay. So yeah, other than that, I guess it's only time to AFK now. I'm just gonna sit here overnight and hope for the best. I know it's not exactly insane or anything, but it is day 701. Sadly, I missed day 700. I didn't notice it. Okay, so finished transferring all of the shulker boxes with obsidian to here. But yeah, we're now going to kill the wither because I'm gonna need that space for something else. Let's just take all of our stuff. You thought it would be really difficult to do this, right? But it's actually very simple. All you gotta do is shoot him with a bow. Even if he would have escaped, it's not gonna be the end of the world. Well, there was like a stag and over a stag. Well, it's in the hoppers now. There was a decent bit of it here, so let's just wait for everything to load into the shulker boxes. The farm is now officially done working. Let's put back the last nether star. Never had any issues with wither. So yeah, now I think it's time to tell you what's the next farm we're gonna build. The next farm we're gonna build is the gravity block farm. At this point I decided to just start showing the farm rather than showing you every time me getting the materials, building the farm, and then showing the farm, as otherwise the video would be ending up taking hours, because we still have like 50 more farms to go over. So I hope you'll forgive me for that, but yeah, we're gonna have to go much faster now. Okay, and the farm is now done. Yeah, as you can see, the sand is flying in. It's breaking on the signs, and then all flowing in to the collection system, where there's 30 double chests of storage. Well, this giant machine that automatically breaks the concrete does not work, sadly. This basically is that, just you also need a pickaxe, I guess. So I prefer this, I guess. Okay, and the farm now works. All we gotta do is hit these drowns with a preferably looting 3 sword, and all their drops come here. We got a nautilus shell already. That's crazy. That was like 3 of them. I highly doubt those are the actual rates, but yeah, we have a drowned farm, which not only produces us copper, it also produces us nautilus shells and tridents and rotten flesh, which is why I chose to do this kind of farm rather than the farm kind where yeah, where you have zombies spawning more of these. By the way, we just got a trident one, so that has a chance for that. But yeah, that's why I picked this farm rather than the simpler ENX04 design where you hit a zombie and then it spawns more zombie and then you drown the zombies. Because those don't give you nautilus shells and tridents, and these do. And I said I wanted to build a farm for every item, so we gotta do it. Already got a copper ingot. So yeah, I'm just gonna AFK here for a little, get some items, and yeah, that's probably. Then we're gonna move to the next farm. Okay, so I've been AFKing here for a little. It's honestly not that long. Like, if I stand here, let's just kill all of them so I can show you. They're dying really quickly. Like, they're spawning really quickly, sorry. But yeah, the reason I waited now is because we got a trident. I don't know why, but it's mythic. So that's pretty awesome. We also got 27 copper, 3 nautilus shell here, plus 20 and 5. So in total we got 47 and 8 nautilus shells, which is enough nautilus shells to craft conduit and a lot of copper, more than we need, I think, because like, yeah, I don't really plan on building with it. It's just for like spyglasses and like lightning rods and stuff. Still pretty awesome. Also got a couple of fishing rod, a bunch of rotten flesh, those kinds of things. But mainly the trident is what I care about, because now we can enchant it and it would be pretty awesome. By the way, as you can see, they've already spawned a bunch of them. I saw one of them had a trident, so I thought maybe, but he didn't. I'm breaking 3. And we also go here to take one of our mending books, combine them all in here, and I believe this is like the best trident you can get while building a shulker loader for the bonemeal farm. By the way, it's really fast while building. It's already filling up the first hoppers. Anyway, I found this wandering trader, and he has mangrove propagule. Create a mangrove farm and then get an infinite amount of these. Froglight farm is now built. I didn't show myself building it because I realized it's probably already been like a while since the beginning of the video, and we're not even like halfway through the farms. So we're gonna have to speed things up, but I did show myself getting the frogs, and the farm is now working. We're getting the ochre froglight, the pearlescent froglight, magma cream, and the verdant froglight. And we're getting quite a lot of them. If we wanna AFK here, all we gotta do is, and then we can see that the magma cubes are gonna start spawning. Okay, so I currently have this cobblestone generator, which has been helping us out a lot for a long time, and we still have quite a lot of cobblestone just in case. However, it did technically kind of stop working. I guess I'm gonna put it above there because it's already like pretty noisy and stuff. This one is a pretty quiet area, so yeah, I'm gonna be building it there. Now again, I got all the materials here. I had all of them because I already had a shulker box with lava in them. I just gotta build it. It is designed by Scorpio, the tutorial is by Kelp, and again, all the tutorials are going to be either in the description or in the Discord server, depending if I can fit them in the description. And yeah, I'm just gonna do 3, 2, 1. Whoa, that was crazy. That just appeared there out of nowhere. Let's go check that out. So let's see if there's an activation lever right here. Let's see what happens when you flick that. Oh my god, it's a TNT. Who would have guessed? But yeah, now on a more serious note, this farm is pretty good. As you can see, it's already starting to produce a lot of it. In theory, okay, I'd like to take that a little. In theory, I could just leave it here and it would work forever. This is the chunk with the chunk loader. So the whole farm is loaded. I am taking a little damage from the TNT, but it's fine. In theory, according to what the tutorial says, it produces 120,000 items per hour, which items meaning cobblestone. Could be, honestly, like, I don't know. I don't have a shulker box loader here yet. I might in the future, but yeah, it's looking pretty good. Okay, so I've got this whole trading setup. We have unbreaking 3, looting 3, sharpness 5, very cheap mending for 12 emeralds, efficiency 5, protection 4, then 4 fletchers that will trade us emeralds for sticks. if we want it, because the braid form is a little slow for emeralds. It's really good for other stuff. Also, they can trade string for emeralds, which is really good. I'm going to build another string duper here, so I can trade with them. It's also right near the wood farm, so it's amazing. And we also have one for all the tools and one for all the armors. So it is really good. I've had to trade quite a lot with them to upgrade them, but it is really good. Now we're done. Okay, so I got these materials, and if you can guess what I'm building, it's good. If not, you're gonna see in 3, 2, 1. Bam! This is a dripstone farm. It works by the water pointing into the dripstone blocks, making the dripstone go, and then once it reaches to the observers make the pistons fire, and we get the dripstone, and it points here. And it works because you can it works for both pointed dripstone and dripstone blocks, because you can craft dripstone blocks with pointed dripstone. Okay, so we have a mud farm now. It's a pretty cool farm. You just break this, place of dirt, break this, place of dirt, break this. Now in theory you cannot spam it, I think, because if you do spam it, it stops working. Maybe if we shift click, it's going to work. Well, you can see it just... Yeah, it's breaking if we do it too fast, because it dispenses the thing a little too early. However, if we time it correctly, it should be okay. And bam, we have another farm. And you might be thinking, wait, this isn't a farm. Anyway, this is converts mud into clay, so it's kind of a clay farm. Again, we can trade for clay with villagers, so I doubt we really need it. But if we do for some reason need it, it's just gonna place 24 mud. It slowly converts into clay, and then we can mine the clay with either a fortune or silk touch, and bam, farm. Bam! The withers rose farm is now working, and you might be saying, but Zydrox, you spilled a lot of water there. Yeah, apparently you need to do that to improve the rates by a lot, because otherwise they teleport away. However, all we gotta do is just stand here, and you see all the endermen falling down there. That's all of them are going to be killed by wither, and then drop wither roses, which we can then use for black dye or maybe a wither skeleton form in the future, but we already have one, so I don't know if we'll use that, but it is technically a possibility. And also, like, you can use it for a wither effect, I guess, to kill in killing chambers and stuff. Either way, we have that, and it's pretty cool to look at, to be honest. Just looking at it from above, seeing them all fall in that one specific hole is pretty satisfying. It's like they're all being eaten by like those 6 blocks somehow. Sometimes like it struggles to eat them, but eventually it does, and I find that pretty cool. Okay, so the next farm requires all of these materials, which might seem like a lot, and that's because it is. However, it's mainly just portal spam. As you can see, 3 out of those 2 shulker boxes, 3 out of those 4 shulker boxes are just obsidian and blocks, and the rest is just this, which is a collection system. So it's relatively simple, and I'm going to be building it here as this is a pretty large soul sand valley, so I feel like that would be pretty good. And yeah, I'm going to be building it right here. So yep, and the gas farm is complete. As you will see in a bit, the gas spawn and instantly get teleported through the nether portal into the overworld side, where they get crushed to death, like they get suffocated to death, and then their drops get, there was a gas there, and then their drops get collected in a collection system. I totally did not have an issue where the portal connected incorrectly, and then they appeared to have spawned in a different place than I would have wanted. And then I had to fight like 20 gas. That did not happen. Anyways, if we go down here, we can see there's this special portal I've made just for myself, even though it links to the exact same place as the other portals. Which is this killing chamber, where when they spawn, it's too small for them to survive and or move, so they just suffocate to death, and their drops go through those hoppers into these chests. Okay, the farm is in theory now complete. We are going to need to fill this up with a bunch of buckets. Okay, so yeah, now it's loaded up with buckets. All we gotta do is take some buckets, and remove the offhand, make sure our inventory is filled up. And then we stand right here, hold right click, and it should start filling up buckets. Every one that is filled up, we will pick up, and then we get another bucket, and the farm works. Okay, I was able to get all the sheep in their places, and I've got all the dyes here already. I will have to clean this up a little. I'm gonna have to dye them and then break all the scaffolding I used to get them in, but other than that, the farm should be done now. The next farm we're going to be building is an automatic wood farm, and you might be saying, what, how can you make an automatic wood farm? Like you have to place the saplings. Well, I'm going to show you that right after we're done building it. Okay, so the farm is now working. As you can see, it basically sprays bonemeal on either nylium, like crimson or warped nylium, and that has a chance of growing a fungus, which if you bonemeal the fungus, it can grow the nether tree, which means you can automatically grow trees without even having to place the saplings. And then there's TNT dupers, blow them up, and all is going into a collection system. Kelp farm. This is a seaweed farm. All you gotta do is flick this lever, hold left click, and you get a bunch of seaweed. Kind of an amethyst farm. I dug out a lot of the buddings. This is an ice farm, and as you can see from the lack of ice around, this would be very, very helpful to have. The way this works is by having water sources in a snowy biome, and then you just go ahead and mine whenever the water freezes up into ice, which will help us a lot, because doing this every time, way slower than having to wait for water to freeze up. So that's going to be very helpful. Glowing sack farm. This was by far one of the unnecessarily hardest farms I've made. Because I wanted to build it near the other farms, however, so I built it here. However, it needed to be dug down to Y level 30, and the surface here is 80, and it needed to be like this size of a hole, so it wasn't fun. But it's done. If we get this platform here, we will be able to see that squids are gonna form, glow squids are gonna spawn there, and then they're gonna float and go into the magma cubes. And then they're gonna be collected into a storage system. This is a cobweb farm. If we go ahead and take some shears, fill up this dispenser with a couple of weaving potions, and then right click it, and then we flick this lever, the chickens die, and we get some cobweb, which we can mine right up. Yeah, that's a cobweb farm. So this is a pumpkin and melon farm, so if we activated that, it now has a flying machine with hopper minecarts that go and break the pumpkins and melons, collect them, and then dump them into the hoppers, bringing them all into here, and yeah, that technically works. This is a regular cactus farm. Basically, the cactus grows, and then when it grows, it gets destroyed by the fact that it's right next to a fence, and then it breaks, and the cactus falls down into the water stream, which then ends up in the hopper and in the chest. So eventually, we'll start creating some cactus for us. Okay, so this is supposed to be one of. Let's just take down the volume. This is supposed to be one of the fastest basalt farms in the game. As you see, it generates a lot of them, and then it drops the TNT with the TNT duper onto the basalt generated, and it's all going into here. And as you can see, it's going up both here at hopper speed and here at hopper speed. This is a driply farm. All I gotta do is break this and start holding, activate this lever, and then holding left click and right click, and it will continue to generate an infinite amount of drip leaf. And it's a very complicated farm design, so look at that. Yep, that's it. That's the whole farm. This is an actually pretty useful farm. This is a stone farm, where all we gotta do is flick this lever and this lever, then go right here, hold left click, and we are mining a lot of stone because we have haste 2 beacon right there. We get haste 2, so we insta-mine the stone. It's all going into the hoppers and are then collected right down there. If we want to stop this, we just flick these two levers and we get an infinite amount of stone. And it's actually going to be very useful because a lot of redstone components like repeaters and comparators require stone, as well as a lot of building blocks require a lot of stone. So this is actually a really useful farm. So yeah, this is a vine farm. Basically, you once it starts growing, you fill up your inventory with an item and put a shear in your hand, and then hold left click, and then the water stream is going to take you all around until you eventually go back around. And when the shear breaks, there's a system here that dispenses a new shear, so it's going to work indefinitely. Yeah, this is a glow lichen farm. If we activate this lever and then look right there, we can just hold left click and it breaks the glow lichen. It's being created by having the dispenser filled with bonemeal, and it's another bonemeal farm. So yep, and then we just put the bonemeal, the glow lichen here, the shears here, and this is going to be filled up with a lot of bonemeal. And that is it, that's the whole farm. This is an automatic coarse fruit and flower farm. When this grows, you have to stand here with the coarse flower. Then when this grows, the farm automatically breaks it. You place the new one and the new coarse flower and fruit gets right to you. And yeah, that's the farm. This is a wood stripper. So if we take some wood, let's say we put half, we could in theory put all but like a couple. And then we do this. I want to eat real quick, but then we just hold right click and left click at the same time and it works. This is a netherwart farm, and you might be saying that this is a little cheating because it's not really an automatic farm. However, there's really no way, as far as I know, to automate it, because it doesn't, you cannot put bone meal on it. So, and if you harvest it, you're gonna have to manually replant it anyways. So it's better to manually harvest it with a Fortune 3 hoe, or anything I guess, but hoe I feel like it's for farming. So yeah, basically what we need to do is wait for it to grow and then farm it with a Fortune 3 hoe and then replant it. That's like the best thing to a netherwart farm you can do. And I guess now we've done that. This is a glowberry farm. All you do is flick this lever, right click, and you get an infinite amount of glowberries. Okay, so this is a sweetberry farm. It's very different from the glowberry farm. All we do is flick this lever and hold right click and it generates a bunch of sweet berries. This is a cocoa bean farm. All we gotta do is hold the cocoa bean, activate this and hold right click and we get an infinite amount of cocoa beans. This is a pink petal farm. All we do is push this lever and then the bone meal dispenses on the pink petal, which then duplicates it. This is a hanging root farm where all we do is again flick this lever, hold shears and hold left click here, and it's going to give us a lot of hanging roots. This is a sea pickle farm, so all we gotta do is activate this and then hold right click and click left click, and it's automatically placing and then growing. This is a grass farm. All we gotta do is break this, place one more. I was going to activate it, but and yeah, just break it with shears. And we get grass. This grass farm actually also works as a fern farm, so if we activate it, it's used the exact same way. This is an automatic fish farm, so if we aim right in between the trapdoor and the pressure plate, so then we hold right click, we're going to automatically fish. Whenever we get another fish, it's going to hook it, and then we're going to continue holding right click and it works. This is a coral farm. You just go here with shears and you break the coral and you get all kind of coral and seaweed and stuff. Now the one bad part about this is that it has to be in a coral reef, and the closest one I found 5,300 blocks away from our farms. So I highly doubt we're ever going to actually use this. But if we are, this is a phantom farm. Now, because I do sleep every night, I'm not gonna get any phantom this night, the next night, or the night after that, I don't think. But we are eventually, if I don't sleep, we are gonna get them. And the idea is we get in here, stand on top of this, and then when they try and attack us, they get stuck in the water, swoop in here. They cannot attack us, but we can attack them through the air gap around the iron bar. And then we just have an auto clicker here looking up, and we can kill all of them when they come. So yeah, this is a phantom farm. This is a chicken farm, which sure also produces chickens, but more importantly for me, it will also produce feathers, which is another automatic item that we can get, because chicken is only meant for food, and we already have an infinite food farm. But we don't have an infinite chicken farm, so infinite feather farm, and now we do. So this is pretty cool. The way it works, the chicken will eventually grow up, start laying eggs. The eggs go into this dispenser. Once an item goes into this dispenser, it will automatically be shot into the slab, and the item would be egg. Once the eggs get thrown into the slab, there's a chance the chicken will spawn, and once the chicken grows up, it gets killed by the lava, and the items get sucked into the hopper. And that's it. That's the chicken farm. Okay, so we're done. After weeks in the making, hundreds of hours poured in. Like seriously, if we look at the day counter, because I did some AFKing before this starting to work on this, we started about day 568. We're now at day 915. This is over, that's like 350 days of building farms and stuff. It's actually crazy to think about. It's over 100 hours of grinding, which I find insane. In that time, we got a lot of materials, including having like basically infinite amount of materials. For example, we have a practically infinite amount of bone meal, as well as an infinite amount of obsidian. As you can see, we have over 2 double chests of shulker boxes. Not to mention, we have farms for hundreds of different materials, and if we want any of them, we just have to activate a farm and we get it. And yeah, it's insane. We also got some of them being more efficient, like an automatic bone meal farm, the villager breeder, which the villager trading hall, which produces us a lot of enchants, emeralds, food, stuff like that. And some of them are more obscure, but will help us at some point. For example, the lava bucket farm. Even though it's not always going to be necessary, when it is, it's nice to have an infinite supply of it. So yeah, we are now done. After over 100 hours of building farms, I believe we have every single farm in the game. So if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe and turn on notifications. Until the next time, goodbye.